Hey, it's Nay. Welcome to Nay's Little Garden and Home. So today I want to talk about just a couple of things I think is in fact great to grow in your garden. This is gonna obviously, I feel like it's gonna vary for sure. I'm giving you my opinion. This is going to vary on what you can, literally, whether through allergies or not, be able to eat or even want to eat based off of your own tastes. I'm giving you example of things that I feel like, one, growing in your garden is just going to be healthier, right? And also you could probably grow a really good amount of it to actually sustain you for a good amount, because you can do a multitude of things with these items I'm going to tell you about. Also, I think that I'm going to say something, and this might be false for some people for sure. These are not crazy hard to grow. Now, there are varieties of some of these things I'm going to talk about that you need to take into consideration. Your space, you need to take into consideration, and what you're willing to do to help it survive, right? I do kind of go by the instance of like, I'm gonna do what I do to try to help you, but may the odds ever be in your favor type of vibe. And so if you don't want a baby, things, like I said, varieties are very important. But this is literally just kind of 4 sections I want to talk about. There's so many other things you can definitely grow, but I think these are they're wildly known, right? So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. Obviously, the most important thing to grow are things that you will actually consume and you actually use, right? So the first thing I'm going to say is something that I think a lot of gardeners as a whole will agree with, a good chunk at least, is herbs. I believe that herbs, the price of seasonings is actually insane these days. And fresh herbs in your food really lend to deliciousness. And then what's really, really great about it is, well, you can really get a dehydrator for like $50, $40, let's say $50, and be able to dehydrate in that. Or you could literally put the lowest setting of your oven and put them in your oven. I think it goes on to like 175, maybe 165, and leave it in there and just leave it for mad hours, and it's gonna dehydrate. Yeah, so there's so many herbs, but for me personally, thyme, parsley, rosemary, sage, chives, and basil. Those are the 5 I will and I would look into growing, and I will be. So I'm going to tell you right now, the ones in my little tent that I started died, all of them. Now, walk with me for a second. They didn't die because they did something wrong. Guys, I had a lapse of about 3 weeks of, I just can't even stress this little thing right now. Like, I forgot about it for about a week or 2. And then the 3rd week, I was like, well, I'm not gonna even look in there. Things are definitely gone. So we're gonna do it again because I took some time off to rest, and now it's game time, ladies. So I'm ready to restart this again. I also feel like I tried to start them in a spot, like in like bins that I wasn't prepared for. So I'm gonna put them into the tray things that I used for last year and try to see what comes of that. I'm not gonna use a lot of the trays. I'm gonna continue to also to use that little bucket thing that I started them in and see, because guys, we have a few weeks, if you will, before it's the new year, and then not much time after the new year we'll be starting a few certain types of stuff. So I do think, like I said, parsley, thyme, rosemary, sage, chives, basil. And there's so many different varieties of all of these things that you could quite literally really enjoy. You could really enjoy what you're growing. I think also a quick one to add to that and keep these in containers is mint. There are mint in and of itself. You could have like 14 different like taste profiles. Mint, chocolate mint, peppermint, lemon mint. They have, I feel like you can pick a flavor and there's a mint available for apple mint. I had the appletini mint. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to survive. I should have snipped some and tried to propagate it or something. I didn't, but I'm not upset about it because I got it from my local greenhouse and I'm going to repurchase it. And then I'm going to do what I need to do to bring that into my house next year. That apple mint, the chocolate mint, all of those were so good in drinks. They're so good in drinks. I think that kind of lends itself into like the tea realm. And I didn't discuss any tea stuff here because I think that is a whole nother video in and of itself. But that's herbs. The next one I want to say is really and truly carrots. And they can be stressful to grow. Germinating carrots is ghetto. It's very... oh my God, it's annoying. But once they germinate, you're going to be feeling like a gardener. Like a gardener. When you're over there and you do the little push and pull out and you're pulling out a carrot that could be sold in a grocery store, you're going to be like, what? Because once you have germination, carrots are kind of one of those things where like you just let them rock. You don't do too much. They germinate and yeah, you can go in and pick, to leave some more space in between those plants for them to do their thing. And I get that. And that's not a lot of work. You also could just leave them and let them grow closer together. Now, I'm going to say something that is not necessary, but I said I wasn't going to buy any more carrot seeds. And the more I think about pelleted seeds and how easy growing those carrots were, I'm going to say this. For $5, I know it's an insane amount of money for seeds. $5 to $6, you can go to Johnny Seeds and get yourself some pelleted carrot seeds. So you won't even need to be weeding out. You would literally be able to pluck one literal seed for each space that you want it to be, which is about 16 carrots in 1 square foot. If you get yourself a 15-pound grow bag, a 15-gallon grow bag, which look at my video I posted about the $350. If you have $350, you can get yourself a nice little grow bag garden, like a really good one or a pretty good one, I should say. And you could probably plant about 10 carrots in that, easy, and get good sized carrots, like in one of those. 10. And I'm saying that you're probably like, that's not a lot. First of all, carrots store actually pretty well. And once you don't mess with them too much, don't wet them up too much, put them in your cold area, fridge, in the crisper area, and keep it pushing. They last actually pretty well. Especially when you let them get big, right? Anything I would say for the most part, root vegetable wise, the bigger you let it get, the longer it's going to store for. That includes, I feel like, squashes too, but whatever. Anyway, you pull that out, and the thing what also is great about it, the dirt becomes like your refrigerator. So you can be plucking 1 or 2, and the carrots can get to a pretty decent size, and you really only need like 1 or 2 depending on the people in your family. Like 1 suffices for my family of 5 to go into like a chicken, like let's say brown stew chicken. I want to add because my kids act like they don't want vegetables on the sides. So I gotta be doing some sneaky-ish, but chop them up small and cook down, and it'll turn brown with all those stuff in the sauce. 1 will do ya. 2 will do into, honestly, a soup and stew. And before you know it, like, you've made 3 things of chicken, or whatever, beef or whatever, using the thing. You made some soup, some more stews, some more meat. Like, it's going to take you a bunch of different rounds of doing that. And you've only grown 10, and you don't even have to store it in your fridge if you don't want to. You could just store it in the dirt. You could also chop those up easy, put in a little chopper thing, or chop it up with your aunt. But if you want to evenly chop, you could put in a chopper thing and put them in a bag, suck out the air with a little straw, and put it in the freezer. I just think carrots is a really great thing to grow, because not only can you eat the carrots, like I just said, you can also use it for desserts. So you can make carrot cake, carrot muffin cake. Oh my gosh, carrot with a little bit of carrots with ginger and chocolate cake is delicious. Chocolate muffins are delicious. Ask me how I know. My kids don't know they've eaten it before. Don't do too much on the ginger. You can also make drinks with carrot. Carrot juice, I'm going to be real Caribbean right now. If you blend up some carrots, right? Blend it up and stuff, like water or whatever. Put some condensed milk, some Ceylon cinnamon, okay? If you want to add a little bit of health benefits, just a little tap of the ginger powder, you have a very delicious drink with some health benefits. You can take some carrots. You can take a carrot, a beet, and an apple, and have a very good health shot. Guys, carrots can do a lot for you. Carrots are amazing. Moving on. Peppers. I know you're like, girl, please don't stress me out. I'm going to. Because if you have 5 15-gallon grow bags, you can use 2 for herbs, 1 for a pepper, 1 for a carrot, and then the other one is tomatoes, but we're going to save that for last. The peppers, there are 1,000,000,001. No, let's say there's 1,000,001 different pepper varieties, and new ones are always coming out. People are always doing new-ish. So I would say in this particular instance, you can go with a sweet pepper, right? A lot of people don't like spice. Although with a spicy pepper or even a semi-spiced pepper, you can do a lot of things with that. There's a lot of things like jalapeno. You grow a jalapeno, you can stuff them. You can make a jalapeno sauce. You can make a jalapeno powder. There's a lot of things you can do with that. You can get a sweet bell pepper, right? And when you're making your spices, right, you can take yourself some thyme. You can take yourself some rosemary, parsley. You can take yourself some of the peppers. You can dehydrate all of that, grind that down up together, and honestly, make a seasoning. I think some lemon would probably also go in there, but that's fine. And maybe a little pepper, that you get the little peppercorn things and you grind it up and you add it to that. And now you've got yourself a really good salt-free seasoning that is going to be immaculate and good for you. You grew it without pesticides. Tomatoes, guys, tomatoes is one of the most versatile things ever. So you can get ketchup. Did you know barbecue sauce is the base? Is ketchup. Anyway, you can make the pasta, spaghetti, pizza sauce, tomato sauce thing. You can dice those up too. Put those in all types of things, as well as freeze that. Tomato soup. You can also put a carrot in your tomato soup, like, and blend that up with the stuff to sweeten up naturally your tomato sauce. I just have to throw that in there with the carrots are amazing. But tomatoes, I think, and there's 1,000,001 different tomato varieties. And what's cool about it is you don't have to do the tomato variety that grows forever. You can get yourself tomato varieties that get to a very specific height, and they'll put on maybe a flush at one time. You know, maybe give you a couple here or there extra. Tomatoes are fabulous. I heard people grow things like the Tiny Tim, the Tiny Hat, or whatever, the small, super small, like the plant gets like this big and puts on like 10 cherry tomatoes inside of their house. You get you a little $25 light. Let's say 25. Let's say you get 35, 38. Let's say $40 light, and you have 2 lights to really help that thing grow. And it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow, and it's gonna give you tomatoes. Yeah, tomatoes are delicious. You can eat them raw. You can eat them cooked down. You can have soups, salads. I don't drink tomato sauce, but you know, if you like a Bloody Mary, that's your prerogative. I think tomatoes are great. Are you gonna grow, if you're a first-time grower, are you gonna grow enough tomatoes to last you for the entire year? Probably not. Are you gonna grow enough tomatoes to last you for 6 months? There's a high chance not. Especially with the idea of how are you going to store all of these? Are you canning? Do you know how to can? Are you freezing? Do you have the freezer space? If you lose power in the middle of the winter, what are we going to do? Is there ice outside? Are you going to be able to take the stuff, put it out and stuff it under the snow? There's a lot of factors that go into that. Please don't stress it. But I do think tomatoes is something great to grow. The tomatoes I'm going to lean towards are the faster growing tomatoes, which are going to be like your cherry tomatoes and your like saladette tomatoes. Those come in faster and they come in bigger clusters, so they're not like big beef stick tomatoes, but I feel like there's a bigger margin for like error type of thing, because you can kind of let them rock and they do what they got to do. But there are smaller, like determinate dwarf tomato type stuff that will give you bigger tomatoes and still be small. So those are things to look into, and you will quickly fall down a rabbit hole. Be careful, because you can pick a color, any color. You could pick a size, any size. You could pick a shape, many shapes. Tomatoes, you can pick a taste. You can get a basic tomato taste. You can get a sweeter, less acidic tomato. You can get a more like a seasoned tomato, like a savory tomato taste. Like, tomatoes are magical beings. Anyway, that's all we want to talk about. So yeah, real quick recap: herbs, peppers, and tomatoes and carrots. Those are things that I feel like could be the baseline if you eat all those things for your garden, and you could have very, very, very big amounts of flavor varieties, right? That are, I mean, I think that's amazing. Let me know down in the comment section below if you had to pick like 4 types of things, what would you grow? Because I know there's so many more. You know, I didn't really want to put potatoes because they take up so much space. Sweet potatoes is a stress in my life yet. I managed to grow some, but they were like really skinny this year. The year before, I grew nothing. I failed at sweet potatoes, and this coming year I might even grow better. But I think, like, when I was thinking about like stress, and some of these herbs are in fact perennial. So I'm in zone 6. So these are supposedly supposed to come back. Like, the chives should come back, thyme should come back, sage will come back, oregano will come back, mint should come back, that parsley should come back. So these are also things that when you look at that, you could be like, oh, and they're gonna come back. So it's not like a every year stress. They should. I'm gonna let you know about that time. And the what else am I planted? And the, was it oregano that I planted? I'll let you know if those come back next year. I'm gonna let you know. It's in my green stock. But even if they don't, I'm gonna try again, because I really didn't take good time with it. Oh, there's ginger mint, guys. Mint. Anyway, mint is also very lovely. It says mint comes back every year, and I can tell you, mint does come back. You got to put that in your pot. I have that all over the front of my house. Like, if I wasn't scared of like trucks and cars putting stuff all over my front part, I would probably cut that and just use it. It's just fabulous. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this whole video. Hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye bye.